Okay, so we are live. Let me go on YouTube to then share the link. You can also check for us on YouTube now. Uh, okay, so I have the link. Let me just open it. You've opened this thing on WhatsApp, right?
What? Yeah, the group, huh?
The group. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so I have the link.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to open it. I'm trying to open my WhatsApp so that I can share it with everyone.
How is my lighting?
However, you can also just search on you.
Huh?
I said you can also just check for us on YouTube.
Okay. In a decade, yeah?
So you can get the link.
Okay.
Do you want to tilt your camera a bit this way?
A bit.
So it's just the shelf.
Okay.
So that it's just the shelf and the wall is fine. Yeah. That's if you can, sure. Yeah.
Is that better?
But yeah, hi, you technically live, so whoever listens to this or whenever they listen to it, they're going to get all of it.
You said?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. I said you said what?
Hold on. I'm trying to because I can hear myself.
Why are there three people in the studio?
Why there what?
Three people in the studio.
Three people?
Yeah, it's showing that there are three people.
No, it's just that.
Why am I not finding in a decade? Okay. It's showing live here. Can you say something? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. I need you to talk, please.
Hi. Do you have the link now? Can you
Yeah.
hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I have the link.
Okay, great. I'm also just trying to share it so that
Do you need the link?
you can put it on the group.
Okay.
There's a river inside of me that is willing to drown the world. All right, thank you.
Is Okay joining us?
I really don't know. Okay, so we'll start in a few minutes. Fantastic. So Gideon, let's start at exactly.
Ah,
Let's start at exactly 8:10. That's fine.
okay. That's fine. Okay. Already have four people.
Already what?
Four people have joined.
Okay. Hi. Good evening. Welcome. So we'll just give a little more time for people to join and then we'll start doing it. Hi, Nemo. Hi, Yinka. Welcome. Okay, we'll start in exactly 1 minute. Gideon, you can hear me clearly, right?
Loud and clear. Can you hear me?
All right. Time. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us and thank you for choosing to spend your evening intentionally. So, the first full week of 2026 ended slash today, and I think it's a good time to ask ourselves something deeper than our resolution, beyond the question of what am I doing this year. We want to ask ourselves the question, why am I here? And tonight is not about arriving at one final answer. It's more about recognizing the set of purpose that you already carry and learning how to respond to it. Now, you're probably wondering what this is all about. For those who don't know, my name is Omolola Akinseya, and we welcome you to the Inner Decade series. The Inner Decade is an expression of the need to navigate our various decades in life, from the moment we were born into the first few decades of our lives. A lot of us typically do not have a maybe like a clear path or a clear pathway on some of the things that we're meant to be doing, what we're meant to be doing at various decades of our lives. I mean, we just pretty much um, stumble upon things like books, church, meetings, those of us who have older ones, mentors, you get people who will guide you in certain things. But there's no clear like structure to say, oh, from age 1 to 10, this is what you should be doing. From age 10 to 20, this is what you should be doing, and so on and so forth. So what we're attempting to do here is to create some sort of guidance, not because we are experts, but because we're also curious. We're curious enough to ask questions, and that's why we put out a survey a couple of months ago, just to ask people and to try and understand where people are in their various ways, the things that they're struggling with, the parts of life where they're thriving, and how we can help each other. So basically, this is an invitation to lift each other up, so to speak. Um, about 2 3 weeks ago, we had the first expression of inner decade with Femi, and the conversation was around money. If your money could speak, what would it say? It was a very interesting one. If you missed it, there is a link somewhere I can refer you to it where you can catch on other things discussed like um, emotions attached towards money, our background around money, the things that influence our relationship with money, and how we can do better with money. And again, we chose money as a direction of the feedback that we received from the initial survey that we put out there. And now we've moved on to purpose. We didn't move on to purpose based on vibes, inshallah. We decided to talk about purpose based on the responses we got from our survey. We identified there is a need, there is a problem, and a lot of youths, I mean, most of the students we got from 20 and 30. So we decided, okay, you know what? A lot of people are really curious about the concept of purpose. We then decided to bring in an expert, a purpose advocate, in the person of Gideon Nemile Abuka, who is in the room with us right now, to come and help us break down and navigate this concept of purpose. But before we bring in Gideon, I would like to make this as interactive as possible. So we have a chat bot. You can use the chat bot. For those who are a part of the larger community, you can also leave comments on the group. And my question to you, what does purpose mean to you? What does purpose mean to you? There are different types of purpose. It doesn't particularly show up in one single shape or form. It can show up at many different things per time. There's spiritual purpose, natural purpose, problem solving purpose, relational purpose. There's even purpose in parenting. So, I mean, those are just some of the few that I can think of. Right. But before we bring in Gideon, I mean, he's already here, Sha, but before we bring him in officially, what does purpose mean to you? Leave it in the comment section. Just give us a chat. Give us a chat, or leave it on the community. All right. So, yeah. So again, this is a reflective session. We're not here to teach you anything. We're here to create an
Yeah.
opportunity and an avenue for you to reflect, ask yourself the question, and then hopefully through this conversation, you get some sort of nudge on what the next phase should look like. Because and this is an avenue for us because purpose is not particularly something that you explain, it's something you walk through. And that's why I'm happy that to guide us through this conversation. And a little bit of introduction. Gideon, as our guest, he has spent many years, many years, working alongside young people and helping them to discover purpose. And more important, learning how to work it out practically. He has pastored for 5 years, creating a space for questions, growth, and becoming. And alongside, he also brings in experience in administration and management. So you know that beyond the pastoring part, there's also the administrative part and the management part, which means that he understands both the heart of purpose and the structure that is necessary to understand it. You understand that it's not spiritual language, something that is lived daily, often quietly, and definitely with discipline. So please welcome, join me to welcome Gideon Nemile Abuka.
Hi,
Hi,
Omolola.
Gideon.
Thank you for having me here. Can you hear me? Hello. Omolola, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for having me here.
Can you hear me?
And yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Hi.
I'm great. Okay, now that you are done introducing me, I should also let everybody know that I'm your very good friend. And
Okay.
that's why you were sounding so official. I was just smiling because I'm not used to being official with you. But well, like you said, this is a place to just share. You know, you said Gideon is a purpose expert. I don't think there are certain things that people can be an expert at, but something like purpose, you just share your bit. Okay, you share. You don't necessarily become an expert. And the question, why are we here, is one of the most important questions we have to answer in life because as we go on in life, at different stages in life, at different, um, when we turn new age, when we enter a new decade or, we have a birthday or something, life presents us with different questions. Whether you are ready to answer them or not, when you start working and going to primary school, you have to answer the question of being a primary school student, then you got into the university and you had to graduate. So after university, you had to get into the labor market. At every point in life, life keeps presenting us with questions and challenges. But one of the most important questions we have to answer is the question of why am I here? Why am I here? Lola, can you hear me? Okay. So why am I here?
I can hear you
And
loud.
we're okay. So we are talking about purpose. Why am I here? It's one question that even if you don't ask yourself, you will hear people around you ask themselves, or even in movies, it's everywhere, right? People get bored about the whole circle of survival. Some people say, did I just come to this life to pay bills and die? Then you hear a rich man will now tell you that I have everything money can buy, but I am dissatisfied. Then the poor man will tell you, or the person who is just living an averagely sufficient life will now tell you that, let me get to your level first. Then you can tell me that money does not buy happiness. Because ultimately, what we all look for is fulfillment. And until we answer that question of
Mhm.
why we are here, we cannot experience fulfillment. And that's where purpose comes in. So, in a nutshell, purpose is just your assignment, is the reason you were created, is the reason you are here, is what you were made for.
Hmm.
And purpose is something that I believe is not given you discover it, right? It's a discovery you make. Either you go through the spiritual route or you try to figure out something for yourself. Either ways, you have to find your usefulness because
Okay.
ultimately purpose is about being useful, right?
It's about being useful.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you, Gideon. I like
You're welcome.
that you said that. And so useful to who exactly? Because the concept of usefulness is a bit
Broad.
yes. So when you say useful, could you touch a bit more to what you mean by useful? Useful to who?
Okay. By being useful, I mean, let me use this example, right? If you look at a mango tree, a mango tree, I'm using this example because I want to make it sound as simple as possible. I know some of you in Lagos have not seen a mango tree. I'm just kidding.
Oh wow.
There are not a lot of trees in Lagos. So if you look at a mango tree, you must have seen it from primary school textbooks. You see that it has fruits or any other fruit bearing tree, right? You would notice that a tree does not eat its fruits. A tree does not eat its fruits. And in the end, the most important thing, no matter how the roots of the tree go into the ground, no matter how large the branches are and how green the leaves are, ultimately, all of that structure is for it to bear fruit. And therefore, the most important thing the tree is giving out is its fruit, right? But the tree cannot consume its own fruit. So the usefulness of the tree is connected to what is giving out, not what is giving to itself.
Mm,
Are you getting what I'm saying? So if you're thinking about usefulness in what sense? It is something that adds to somebody else ultimately. Because the tree is not producing something that will destroy people. It's actually bringing
mm,
something that is nourishing, something that will add to the health of others and all of that. So it is producing something that will, let me use the word, I've been a pastor and I'm still a pastor, something that will bless,
you
because the
said
word,
bless,
yes, bless, because the word bless
bless.
actually means to empower to succeed and to prosper, right? So
Mm,
you're bringing out something of yourself that is useful to somebody else because
mm,
the fruit you produce, if you consume it alone, you were not even designed to consume your own fruits per se.
mm.
Everything. It is
Deep,
meant
deep,
like
deep, deep,
yeah,
deep,
like the
deep.
mango tree, what you are producing is for the system, is for others. We are all connected. If you get the people concept right, if you get um, the knowledge of the value of humans, right? If you come to understand the value of human beings, you are a step more than a step close to understanding what purpose really is. Because even if you look at it from the spiritual side or from the secular side, the natural side, let me say you don't want to deal with God and all of that, you will understand by nature and the systems of nature that we are all connected in one way or the other, and that
Mhm,
everybody is meant to supply something into the community of humans, right? But if you also look at it from the spiritual side, you'll come to understand that the most important thing to God is human beings. Everything He created is for humans. His focus is human beings. So there is no way, some people will tell you that I don't like people. There is no way. There is no way we can even talk about purpose if you don't like. In fact, that is the first. That is the first thing we should be dealing with. Why don't you even like people? Do you understand? Why
So,
don't you?
okay,
Yeah.
I hear you, Gideon. I hear you completely.
Yeah.
Okay, did you say something?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so I hear you completely, and I mean, I like that you said, "Oh, you need to like people and all of that and all of that." Let's put people aside first. We
Okay.
love people, kumbaya. I like the analogy about the tree. And I know that one of the times when we were speaking, when we are preparing for
Yeah.
this, that was one of the things that you said that was really profound and really connected with me. You said a tree does not eat its own fruit. And then I remember how you made reference to how it's that same seed that comes from a mango tree, for instance, from
Mm.
that mango fruit. That's the same seed you plant and then it becomes a bigger tree. So when you think
Yeah.
about it in hindsight, it's that one seed then goes
Mhm.
into the ground, establishes roots, it is
Mhm.
watered, and then over a period of time it grows, it flourishes, fruits
Mhm.
start to come out, and then that fruit can then proceed to go and become another tree somewhere. So
Yeah.
ultimately, that one tree that is feeding a set of people then becomes multiple trees if planted. Now,
Yes.
um, but I want us to step away briefly from the concept of the tree and the concept of the fruit and talk
Okay.
about money, because
Okay.
this is 2026 and this is a new year, and a lot of people want money. I want money, you want money. Now, again, the last conversation we talked about was about if your money could speak or if your money could talk, what would it say? And when we spoke with your poem said a lot of interesting things. Talked about like our interaction with money from like the beginning, from like
Mhm.
how when we were born, how money was introduced to us, the
Mhm.
emotions that attached towards money, how we should spend our money, what we should do with our money, and how we should grow our money. Now, is there a connection between the concept of purpose and money? I told you about an analogy that someone often told me, where he said that when you're living in alignment with your purpose, money would follow. Now,
Mhm.
and then there are also people that are earning a lot of money, doing things that are bringing them money, but they don't have satisfaction. They don't derive joy in what they do, or they're still just that, not like just that question about why am I here? What am I doing? What is the reason? Now, my question to you in respect to purpose and money is
Mhm.
that, can we talk honestly about it? Can we discuss it? Do you need to be, can are they mutually exclusive? Do you need to, like, do you need to live a life of purpose to be considered wealthy? The concept of wealthiness or wealth rather in
Mhm.
fluid cash. Yeah. Can I say if I am living for people and I'm living purposefully, it means more I will get money. Like,
Okay.
can we talk about that?
Okay. First of all, you must understand, like I said, let me talk about purpose from both the spiritual and the natural side, first of all. And I said the basis of purpose is service, right? If you're coming from the spiritual side, God tells you what to do with your life, what He wants you to achieve, and all of that. And if you're coming from the natural side and you choose to, find something you want to do for society and go after it, maybe because of something that pains you, gives you pain, and you decide to solve the problem, something you're interested in, and you decide to solve the problem. Are you getting me? So, but it's ultimately a decision you make to impact the life of others, right? Now, in doing this, it's often said that people often say this, that when you start fulfilling your purpose, money will follow. That is not often the case. It might come because money might come later because purpose, when you start to fulfill purpose, it breeds influence, right? You begin to stand out. It breeds influence. And where there's influence, opportunities come. And when there's
When there's
opportunity,
influence,
yes,
opportunities
it
come.
comes. Yes. And when there's opportunity, money will always come in. But that is not always the case at the beginning. And that's where a lot of people struggle. How do I balance my finances and then balance service? Separate the two. Are you getting me? Know what you are doing for money and know what you are doing for purpose. Now, this takes a lot of energy and discipline because at the initial stages of wanting to be of service in any capacity, it will often involve you pouring your finances, not just your finances, your emotions, your energy. Because largely, purpose is about pouring out of the inner recesses of your mind or your spirit. It's about pouring out, even emotionally, right? It's if you go into fulfilling purpose with the mindset of wanting to gain or receive something, you are likely to fail. You're likely to fail, or you are likely to just create a business, right? Because
Ah,
yes,
interesting.
because the orientation of purpose is service and self-sacrifice.
Service and
And
self-sacrifice.
self-sacrifice, service and self-sacrifice, right? It is, in a nutshell, you can say it is giving. without the consciousness of receiving. But we've been wired to want to receive, especially financially. So most times people say, "Oh, this is my purpose, and I'm finding a way to make money with it." The moment you have that in the mix rather, sorry, the moment you have that in the mix, you are likely to derail because the disciplines required to make money, right, often uh, are opposed to some of the disciplines required to fulfill purpose.
Can you tell us a few of those disciplines?
Okay, for example, the one of the greatest interests of a businessman is to make profits, right?
Is what?
Is to make profits. One of
Okay.
the interests of business is to make profits. And then if
Yes.
you if you take that mindset of to make profits, especially financial profits, into fulfilling purpose, you will lose you will lose a level of empathy. And you need a lot of empathy to deal with people. You will lose compassion because you are profit
Hmm.
driven, you are financially profit driven. And somebody who is financially profit driven is looking at the numbers, is making decisions based on the numbers. Somebody who is looking to reach somebody is thinking, how can I be more patient? How can I be more loving? How can I get this person's heart to be open to me so that I can, reach this person or maybe give this person direction or impact this person with this skill? Generally, there will be a glitch in wanting to make profit financially while fulfilling
Hmm.
purpose if you are that way. Do you understand? So
So are
you
you
will
saying they
not
can't coexist?
I'm saying that don't enter fulfilling purpose with the mindset of profit. As much as you can, separate your finances, right, from from being a blessing to people. Separate your finances. For example, like I said, I've been a pastor, right? If you climb on that pulpit and you're looking for money, people can smell it from afar. Your
Hmm.
message will be watered down. You will not be able to, especially if you are looking for money, you will not be able to talk to some people in your congregation because maybe they are the ones that are giving you the highest donations, right? And
Hmm.
your purpose might be to set them in the path of righteousness. And then this person is living anyhow, but is your highest donor. Now you want to water down what you are trying to say because money is coming in from here. You see,
Hmm.
it becomes a blockage. Profit becomes a blockage.
Hmm.
Somebody
Okay.
wants to do something. Let me just say this.
All
Somebody
right.
wants to do something. Someone who does not have anything to lose can be the most dangerous or the most useful person.
The most
So,
dangerous or the most useful?
useful person. Yes. It means you can be, dangerous means you are useful in a destructive way. Do you understand? Then useful means the other useful I meant is you are being useful in a good way, right? The moment you say, I'm going to do this, and it is not for profit and it is not for gain, it is for the idea of what I want to accomplish, you become a very, 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 very effective person.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. I want to say something, but before I say what I want to say, let's take a
Okay.
second to look at some of the comments that we have.
Okay.
We have Dimas Better. Hi, we have the Yinka user, something that I don't know. So to the question, what does purpose mean to you? Elizabeth said, purpose for me would be one or more reasons or ways to find fulfillment, I guess. So I'm going to hold on to fulfillment.
Okay.
Diyinka says, purpose to me is a driver and a reason for being. And
Yeah.
more importantly, helps me to show up even on days I don't feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So reason for being is what I'm going to hold on to in
Mm-hmm.
that one. So Um, Earlier today, I was speaking with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I told him he was asking about today's session, and I remember he asked me, he said, your guest for today, is he a pastor or is he a philosopher? I thought I just smiled to myself because when we're planning for this, we were
Mm-hmm.
trying to really move away from the spirituality of it because this is not necessarily a spiritual conversation.
Yeah.
Even though ultimately, inherently, everything is spiritual, but this particular conversation is
Mm-hmm.
not supposed to be that conversation. So, as you were talking, because you kind of like did a segue into your own
Mm-hmm.
path as a pastor,
Yeah.
and I started thinking about the concept of purpose in general. I know you said there are different types of purpose. There's the
Mm-hmm.
natural one, there's the spiritual one. But it seems like the general idea of purpose is supposed to be spiritual, so to speak. Is it
Mm-hmm.
because now I'm going back to the comments and I'm seeing fulfillment, reason for being. Um, is purpose necessarily spiritual? Does it have to be spiritual? Does fulfillment come from spirituality or for I don't know if I'm phrasing the question well, but can you attain your purpose without spirituality? I'm very
Okay.
particular. I really want to know.
Okay. Can you attain your purpose without spirituality? Now, put it in
Yes.
context. Know that you're talking to a pastor.
But
Wait
I don't
now,
know.
wait. I no, I will answer your question because I've also been into admin and management, and I'm trying to be all inclusive as much as I can. Do you understand? I am saying that yes, I will answer from both sides, right? Because
Okay.
largely in Nigerian society, we believe some sort of higher power. If we don't call him God directly, we believe in a creator, right? And if you're going to, for example, write a book, you have an intention in mind. You have something you want it to achieve, right? If you're going to, for example, you have a table in your living room. I know, yeah, because you're my friend. There is, you have a reason why that table is there to serve for work or some other things. Now, when God created you, He had something in mind before He brought you forth. That something is what you want to find out. I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere. Just let me land. But one mistake, those who, now I'm addressing those who are trying to find purpose spiritually. One mistake most people who are trying to find purpose spiritually make is that they shoot for the question of purpose towards their Lord and Savior, their Creator, first. But that I don't think that's the first question you should be asking or the first discovery you should make. The first discovery you should make is actually the love of your Creator. The love of your Creator. Because in finding His love, right, relationship with Him vets purpose. It becomes it becomes a relational thing, right? And also, if you say, "Oh, I don't want God in my life right now," and you say you want to
Not
be a person,
interested in that right now.
yeah, you want to be a person that exists without God. Question is this: based on laws of society, right? Based on the fact that you are existing among people, there are things that are considered harmful, and there are things that are considered helpful, right? Now, if you are going to be purposeful, because you can be an evil genius and you say that is your purpose. There are people who can be that way. Are you there, Lola? Because your screen seems paused. Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Omolola, Are you there? Okay. You just give us a few minutes. Let's get Omola back here. Okay. Okay, I think I'll just continue without her. And please, if you're still with us, can you just say something in the comment section? Okay, I think I'll just continue without her. So, like I was saying, I said if you're not interested in God at the moment, if you're not interested in God at the moment, there are other ways. You're part of a society, and you just being here, there are certain things that must have become a something. There are certain things here that have become things that have gotten your attention, whether painfully or just by sheer interest, right? And if you think about those things very well, or certain abilities that you have, you can use that to reach somebody. You can use that to improve society. You can use that to be a blessing to somebody. And there is fulfillment that comes from giving. Because ultimately, like I said earlier, we cannot eat our own fruits. And we begin to find a level of fulfillment when we start giving back in a good way. When we start giving back in a good way to society, helping meet a need, it could be, there are a lot of problems in the world, right? So if you find a problem, a human need, and decide to solve it, and you work towards solving it, you will see that a sense of fulfillment will begin to come back to you, and you have a high sense of purpose. You wake up with a drive that there's something I need to do. You begin to understand that you are a part of a whole. You're part of a whole. And before you know it, community begins to form around you. And you see that it gets bigger and it gets stronger. And there is a high level of fulfillment that comes out of that. Um, she had, Lola had a series of questions and that I was supposed to provide answers to. Okay, but her network just went off. So I'll just take some of the ones that she had sent to me earlier and we'll just go through it. Question is, where do you start from? Now, okay, she just texted me. She's trying to join. Okay, where do you start from? If you want to fulfill purpose, where do you start from? The moment you find out, like I said, spiritually, first of all, is to know the love of God for you. is to come into relationship. Then purpose becomes a product of relationship, right? It is no longer like a higher power or tax master up there trying to make you do what he wants you to do. You first of all know God for yourself, right? Before you fulfill this assignment. On the other hand, if it's naturally, you find out the problem you just want to solve and you begin to go towards it. But how do you begin? Sometimes we are waiting for everything to be perfect before we move, right? If you want to fulfill purpose, you can't do that. You have to start from where you are. Now, if you have a vision of reaching 50,000 children, you want to feed 50,000 children every year. You want to feed 50,000 children every year. And that might cost you a lot of money, right? And maybe you don't have that money right now. And that is one of the things that keep people in a state of not doing anything because the visions they have, the things that they want to fulfill have become so big, it has overwhelmed them. Instead of becoming a blessing to them, it has become a burden to them. Instead of allowing that happen, what you do is cut down that thing you want to get done to the smallest chunk, right? Look for, like I said, reaching out to children. Start with reaching out to one child. Start to reach out to one child. And if for a period of time your ability only covers one child, there's something about the laws of nature that if you do something consistently for a period of time, your ability to do that thing increases to do more. So it is to look for the seeds, the way you can, the seeds of your purpose, the look for the smallest part of what you want to accomplish and start doing it. So, like I use the example of feeding children, look for the smallest chunk and start doing it. You must understand that in fulfilling purpose, right? It is not the most important part is not even finding out what purpose is. The most important part is you make, the decision you make to fulfill purpose. And one thing I've come to understand is that focus can be very slippery, right? Focus can be really, really slippery. You can do something, or you can easily, human beings are no, they don't like repetition. And, in fulfilling your purpose, you have to do certain things over and over again. Maybe when you are in the training phase of your purpose, when even in the fulfillment, some things feel like routine. And then sometimes you want to get bored and step out of it. But if you know that this is a decision I have made, you stay true to it. You stay true to it because you will always remind yourself of the why you've started, the people this thing you're doing is impacting, how posterity will view it. When you remind yourself of what you're building, it keeps you grounded, right? So start with a decision. Decide that I am going to fulfill my purpose, whether God given or personal decision. Take out time. These are action steps right now. Because me personally, I like action. I don't like too much talk. I love action. So take out time, maybe once a week, once a day, or once in 3 days. You're going to spend 1 hour, right? You're going to spend 1 hour either documenting, writing down things that you think you can do or things that you should do, right? And when you start doing that over a period of time, write down action steps. Write down action steps. Break it down to the smallest so that you do not have excuse. Sometimes if it's big, if what you are trying to do is big at the time, you can give yourself excuses, right? Not to do it. But if it's very small, you know that if you don't do it, you will even beat yourself up. So you break this back. Is she back? Hello, Omolola. Okay, she's not back yet. Break into the smallest actionable steps and get a vision board or something that like in the office here, so you put it where you can always see, right? so that you are always reminded. Because one thing with us human beings is that it is easy to forget. It is very, very easy to forget. So you put it somewhere you can always see, and as much as you can, follow those action steps that you've written down. Because in getting anything done, motivation will last. I'm not saying motivation is bad, right? Motivation is not bad, but ultimately, what keeps you going? What keeps you going when when everything seems rough? What keeps you going when disappointment hits? What keeps you going when you just want to quit? It's not the feeling that motivation produces. It is discipline. It is discipline. It is the decision to keep doing it. You know, at some point in my own life, I stopped caring about the joys of success. You know, sometimes you hear people say, think about how it will feel when you succeed, right? At some point, I did not care about that because I was not seeing so much success with what I was doing, right? Or some people say, think about what if you fail? How are you going to feel? You know, trying to draw motivation, trying to draw strength to act from these feelings of either success or failure, right? At some point, you have to forget about these feelings and you don't really care. You stop like putting success or failure as the major things in your mind. You just stop and you just focus on what needs to be done. I don't care about failure and I don't care about success. Once you come to that point, you become, permit me to use this word, you become a machine for results. Okay, sorry, Omoga is trying to reach me again. Oh dear. Oh dear. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Hello? Okay, okay. Thank you so much, AVC. Yes, we can hear you. Okay. So, at some point in your life, you have to stop, you have to just decide to stop being driven by the joys of success or the fears of failure, right? And be driven by this is what needs to be done. Whether I feel success or not, I am focused on what I need to get done. Because even at some point, success will no longer feel like success. The most important thing, the thing that will be left that has substance is decision. It is decision. The thing that will have substance and meaning to you is that you have either written your words on paper or you've made certain commitments. Because even success might not hold so much water for you anymore. So at that point, what do you do? Do you just quit and just, you know, look for some other reasons? I am telling you that the reason that you should focus on is I have made a decision to get this thing done. So whether I feel successful about it or feel like a failure about it. Sometimes even some people getting stuff done, fulfilling their purpose, sometimes they reach out and say, I feel like a fraud. I feel like I'm not supposed to be the one doing this thing that I'm doing. All those things are feelings. They are coming as a result of certain thoughts. They are feelings. But go back to your book or to your drawing board and focus on the decision. I've made a decision. The path might not be clear right now. Success doesn't feel like success. failure, maybe the feelings of failure has crept in or something like that. But the decision should be the focus. I've decided I don't feel like it today, but I will keep doing it. So you can see in this context that discipline is choosing to stick with your decisions despite how you feel. Am I saying this is easy? No, it's not. It's not easy, but that is what gets the job done. Okay, I think at this point, if we have questions, we can send questions to the comment section, and I'll try my best to answer. Okay, somebody is asking here, Avisi is asking, so how do you get fulfillment if you remove the thoughts of success or failure? You get fulfillment from the fact that you stuck with your decision. Yeah, you stuck with your decision. That is where the fulfillment comes from. Or ultimately, fulfillment can also come from the people who have been affected, who have been impacted by what you have decided to do, how you've reached out and the things you've accomplished for them. Because, like I said, mostly purpose is not about you. Okay. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Do we have any other questions? Okay. I'm looking at the comment sections. Comment section, sorry. Do you have any other questions or contributions? Hmm. Okay. In the absence of any other question or contribution, we do on behalf of on behalf of our convener, Omolola, I really do apologize for the issue that just came up. And okay, somebody is shooting a question. It says, what if we don't want to walk in purpose? What if we are okay with 9 to 5? Wow, I like that question. Okay, what if we don't want to walk in purpose? What if we are okay with 9 to 5? Do you know from what you said, you've already answered yourself. You are already okay, right? You're already okay because the question of purpose or finding answer to sorry, I'm laughing. I know your question is serious. We are finding answers to um, the question, why are we here? If you are okay with your 9 to 5, if you are okay with your 9 to 5, I think for you, you have found out why you are here. And if you find fulfillment in that, why not? I think I think that's totally fine. Okay. Thank you so much for your question. Like I was trying to apologize on behalf of Lola, and network got really bad. And for those of us who are part of the community on WhatsApp, you can send in your questions. Afterthoughts will be sent into the group. If you need more clarity on fulfilling purpose spiritually or naturally, you can still send your questions to the group. Thank you so much for your time. I've had so much fun being with you guys. And it's a bye from here.